Severe weather right now. You're looking at what appears to be a tornado on the ground in Arkansas. This cell phone video taken this afternoon near Little Rock. There's been widespread damage reported in that area, including cars flipped upside down.
And we're beginning to get a look at some of the damage left behind from that apparent tornado. This footage is from NBC affiliate KARK showing heavy damage to a strip mall and someone being loaded up into an ambulance. The same system that produced this destruction is now headed our way, but we do expect those storms to weaken before they reach wave country.
You are watching Wave News at 5 tonight on this Alert Day. I'm John Bowl.
And I'm Myra Ansari. The real severe weather threat here happens later tonight. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harden joins us now with how it'll all unfold. Kev.
Yeah, those images are just minutes old, by the way, so coming into us as we speak. This is a live view from an apartment complex nearby. The water rushing is not rain, but likely pipes that have burst. You'll notice the trees taken down. And that's not too far from that West Little Rock shopping center that was just obliterated by the strong winds and possible tornado. Our skies around our area are a little calmer, but still saturated with plenty of moisture and a lot of wind. And that's what we'll be seeing tonight. The threat of damaging wind and isolated tornadoes. The best period of time to be alert will be between mid-evening around that 8-9 o'clock time frame until about 2 o'clock when they move to our east. The storms, as Myra mentioned, will be weakening as they move to our east, and that's some good news. Storms around the area now, we've got a few, especially to our north across parts of Orange County, Washington County, Lawrence County, into Jackson. These are not severe, but they are moving through with some decent amounts of rain. As I zoom the radar out, you can see the clusters of severe weather that we're contending with. Lots of warnings, both in forms of severe thunderstorm warnings for those straight line winds, some large hail, especially in this zone here, and also some tornado warnings. And that's especially going to be true to the south, where we see across a good chunk of Arkansas approaching Memphis. Next would be near St. Louis. All of this moves closer to us through the evening hours. We have two high-risk areas, moderate risk, enhanced risk areas. And that's what we're in. You can note for us, the enhanced risk area includes most of us, the northern tier of counties in that moderate risk. Regardless, the timing is what's important. As we get past mid-evening, storms typically weaken for us. We lose that daytime heating, some of the energy needed. So the greatest threat of severe weather is going to be along and west of I-65. Nonetheless, we'll be keeping an eye to the radar. Those wind gusts, the isolated tornado threats, all something that we should all be aware of through this evening, especially with what's ongoing right now. We'll have more live images from out west. We've got a lot of TV stations across the country. We'll show you some of the storm-chasing vehicles, and we'll also give you a peek of what to expect for next week. It holds another alert day for us. I'll have that 10-day earliest alert coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. Governor Andy Beshear signed a medical marijuana bill into law this morning. The law won't fully take effect until 2025, but it will replace a mini medical marijuana program put in place by the governor at the start of the year. Wave News reporter Mark Stevens explains some of the differences between the two. Mark.
Myra, the big difference is access. Right now, Governor Beshear has a program allowing Kentuckians to purchase medical marijuana from out of state. This law will eventually allow dispensaries to sell medical marijuana here. The law takes effect in 2025. It's more stringent on the medical conditions people must be diagnosed with to qualify for a marijuana card, but it sets up a state board which can add medical conditions as evidence mounts. Card holders will be able to keep a 30-day supply of medical marijuana at home, and they can carry a 10-day supply with them. And one business that connects patients with state licensed doctors says there's a lot of interest out there for medical marijuana.
And we've already gotten like 20 phone calls this morning just with folks asking about this bill. What are the next steps? What's going to happen? So we're very excited by this opportunity.
Darby Cook told me that one unusual thing about Kentucky's law is that patients cannot smoke the drug. She says most states don't limit how it can be used. Other states have had problems issuing enough licenses to business that want to grow or sell medical marijuana. This law doesn't limit the number of those licenses, but it's too soon to know if the state agencies implementing the law will create limits. Mark Stevens, Wave News.
Thanks, Mark. The family of a teen accidentally shot by an LMPD officer in West Louisville last month has filed a lawsuit. It names Officer Brendan Kaiser LMPD and Metro government. The shooting happened February 20th at an abandoned garage on 38th Street. A group of teens ran out of the garage, and that's when LMPD says Kaiser's gun accidentally fired. Wave News reporter Brandon Spencer joins us now to break down this lawsuit.
Well, this personal injury and civil rights action suit was filed by Sam McGuire Injury Lawyers on behalf of a 16-year-old struck by Officer Kaiser's bullet. It calls for compensatory and punitive damages, along with costs for attorney fees. Now, the video you're looking at now is from the incident on February 20th, where LMPD says Officer Kaiser accidentally discharged his gun. The lawsuit has 2 counts against Kaiser for excessive force in violation of the 4th Amendment and battery, and then 3 counts against LMPD for creating an alleged custom of tolerance to excessive force against citizens, inadequate training or supervision, and for officers, and ratification for the excessive use of force based on the findings in the DOJ report. Back in February, LMPD held a press conference on the incident and talked about the work they do to help officers after these moments.
We understand this is a dangerous job. That's why it's very special people that volunteer to do this job to protect the community under these conditions. These types of situations for officers are extremely stressful, and it's a hard time for officers to go through those types of things. So that's part of why we're doing things like standing up a complete officer wellness unit, so we can provide that holistic support to officers when they've been involved in these types of things.
The suit also says that the juveniles were running away from officers and posed no threat, calling Kaiser's actions unjustified, unreasonable, intentional, and reckless. I reached out to LMPD for a comment, and they responded with, LMPD cannot comment on pending litigation. Brandon Spencer, Wave News.
Thank you, Brandon. Kentucky's rate of child abuse is double the national average. And now CASA of the Heartland is trying to bring attention to the issue. The Elizabethtown nonprofit planted pinwheels in the police department's lawn today. They also had bounce houses and face painting to show the kind of joyful childhood kids should have.
We want the community to know that, they can take part in advocating for these children by volunteering with CASA or volunteering their time or just coming out and planting pinwheels to acknowledge and support the child victims within our community.
Indiana's rate of childhood abuse is only slightly lower than Kentucky's. All right, we want to get back to Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harned with an update on this severe weather we're seeing across the country.
Yeah, we've got another warning for us, and this just coming out for southern Indiana. It's just a severe thunderstorm warning, and I say just because we know all the tornado warnings that are going on. But today, these severe thunderstorm warnings can pose a big problem because of these winds. We know that wind speeds could be greater than 50 miles an hour with this. The hail up to quarter size. This is across northern parts of Washington County, just north of Salem. That warning is in place until 5:30. Once again, a severe thunderstorm warning issued for parts of Orange and Washington counties until 5:30 this evening. We're tracking the storms now. More coming in later. We'll have more updates on weather and news right after the break.